live. Hello. All right. So, boys and girls, Friday we were talking about measuring. We've been talking about different things that we can measure. And we talked about this. What is this?
A ruler.
We talked about this thing.
A measuring tape.
A measuring tape. And then we talked about a
yardstick.
And we discussed like different things that we can measure, the appropriate things to measure what. So when we're using when we are measuring the globe or my head, what should I use, Jacoby? A measuring tape. Thank you, phone a friend. If I'm going to measure my classroom, should I use my ruler or should I use a yardstick? A yardstick. If I'm just going to measure my book, my math book, what do I use? Leah? A ruler. Okay, good job. So now we're going to, today we're going to talk about when we measure things, different, now you guys, I don't know if you've learned line plot. Have you heard that word before?
No.
Okay, so you have? Oh, good. Good, then you can help me with this lesson. So when we're measuring, displaying our data, do you know what the word data means? Jacob, what's data?
I think it means for another file.
Yeah, for a file, kind of, yeah. So like, let's say we're going to measure everybody to see how tall everybody was in this classroom to get the data. Like when Miss Fry, when we did remember when we had to do that pre-test and the post-test? I had to do that for school because I needed the data to see what you learned, what you already knew, and what you were going to know, what you learned after I taught you the lesson. So measuring data is a number thing. So we're going to actually make our own with how many pets we have in our classroom, and not in our classroom, in our homes. Okay. So, yeah. So I want this row right here to move to the carpet. We're going to use our smart board to do our data, to measure our data today. I need the island to come to the carpet. I need this row right here to come to the carpet. And then make sure you push in your chairs. Good job. And then this back row. Okay, so whenever we are doing a line plot, we have to label it, right? Just like any sort of graph. Have you guys done graphs in here? Give me a thumbs up if you've done graphs.
They did in first grade.
First grade. Can you have a seat so I can see everybody? Thank you. So in first grade, you guys did graphs, right? Like who likes red apples? If you like red apples or you like green apples, there's different. Okay, well, we're not talking about that today, but that's the kind of graphs you did in first grade and kindergarten. So line plots just takes it to the next step. I need you to sit crisscross applesauce. Thank you. And you need to scoot back a little bit so I don't step on your cheetah cell. All right, so we have to label our line plot so we know what the data is we're trying to get, okay? Teachers use a lot of data, teachers use data for grades. They use data for behavior. A lot of times if you use data for a lot of different things, okay? So you'll hear that word, but it just means like a collection of information to try to get data, yeah, to try to solve something, okay? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna do the data, we're gonna try to collect some data of pet, oops, hold on, I gotta turn my baby. I love it when
It's on.
He doesn't. He's just guessing.
this is what happens when you use technology. It doesn't always agree with you.
Yeah, I'm great. My brother lives.
And
I know this.
Yes,
it does.
You need to stop. So you're just gonna sit there.
I'm gonna go to this picture.
Okay, sit down.
I know.
Come on, sit down, please, honey.
I'm pushing it. Okay, it's not working. So
Technology.
okay, so we're going to while that's loading, I'm gonna continue on to talk about the rest of the line graphs. I'm gonna get that back. So when we're doing the line plots,
Noah.
so what do you guys think the purpose of a line plot is? You guys can turn and look at me this way if you want, while Miss Fry tries to fix that. What do you think the purpose of a line plot is, Jacob?
Maybe as a line, but
It's a line. It has a number line, and then it has numbers on the bottom. Okay, and you know how when we do a graph, it has. When we do a graph, it does the it measures to see like how much of what. Okay, so when we do a line plot, we have to make sure. I'm going to show you on this board over here. I'm just going to walk all over the classroom today. I'm going to write one on this board right here while Miss Fry tries to fix that. Okay. And it looks kind of like a number line. See? Doesn't it look kind of like our number line? It doesn't look like a number line?
Spaced.
Well, it's spaced a little different because I'm scribbling it up here real quick. Okay, so when we're putting our X's, so let's say we're gonna do cheese pizza. Who likes cheese pizza? Who likes pepperoni? All right now. So I'm gonna put cheese, pepper, sausage, and none. That means doesn't like pizza. Okay, so let's raise your hand if you like cheese pizza. So one, two, just plain cheese. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, so I'm gonna put my X's. 10 X's. Nice and neat.
and
I also like pepperoni.
All right, raise your hand if you like pepperoni pizza.
Oh,
Wait, you can only pick one.
No, you already choose. I like both.
all right,
Did I count
eggs,
her?
bacon.
Yeah.
You
I
can
like
only you can only pick one.
Oh.
All right.
Two.
What I like, eggs, bacon, and sausage.
I'll take pepperoni pizza.
So
Oh, what? Oh, why do my pepperoni so big?
what about sausage?
You don't like sausage.
I hate
Well, don't
Does
say
anyone
hey.
like
Don't
sausage?
say hey. Don't say hey.
One.
Something wrong with you.
All right. Who does not like pizza?
Oh, I like pizza. I pick pepperoni. Oh.
Okay, so
I like bacon.
No.
okay, well that wasn't an option.
Why you
Okay, so here's what. Listen.
erase
So-
some of them X's?
Stop talking, please.
Erase them.
All right, so this X right here, I need you to go to your desk, please. You need to go to your desk. Thank you. So when we're doing our X's to mark it, they need to be nice and neat and in a line, okay? This X right here, wrong. Can't do that, okay? And they can't be like over here and over here. It has to be nice and neat so we can read it, right? Because we're trying to collect the data. So if I was going to order pizza for this class, cheese pizza would be the pizza that I would order because the majority of you like cheese pizza. Okay? So that's what a line plot is. Does anybody have any questions about that?
Yes. Yes.
Yes, go ahead.
It says a different number. Why does it say 15? Why there's 15 X's but there's 23 kids?
Because somebody did not vote because they weren't following directions. Okay? This was just an example.
Yeah.
That's okay. Because the carpet's not looking anyway. All right, I need row 1 to go back to your desk, please. Row two, go back to your desk, please. Row 3, go back to your desk, please. Row 4, go back to your desk, please. All right, hocus pocus, everybody focus.
Focus, focus, everybody focus.
Okay, so I need everybody to listen, please. All right, so this, we couldn't get this thing, the smart board to work, so we are going to use this. We're going to use the chalkboard, the board. So we are now going to collect the data for our line plots of how many pets each of you have in your house. Okay? So pets. In our home. All right, so pets in our homes. In our home. Okay, so I am going to
Resetting.
I love it. Everything about that. So we're going to, I'm not going to put my numbers on the bottom yet. I'm going to wait and see.
Usually you're gonna make a chart first.
Right.
And then look at your data in your chart and then transfer it to your line plot.
Oh, well,
I mean, what you could do, just putting in the chart, having them raise their hand and putting that number and then having them come up with
Okay.
their axes.
okay. All right, so
You could put the chart on that or
it's fine. I'll just show on this piece of paper because I have to move that back and forth. It'd be easier just to do this. Okay, so if you have one animal pet in your home, raise your hand.
Cat.
Only one. If you have two animals in your home, raise your hand. Okay, you already raised your hand that you had one animal.
Oh. I don't know.
Okay, so let's start over. So the question is, if you only have one animal, not three, one. Actually, if you have 0 animals, let's start there. 0 animals, raise your hand. 0 animals. If you have no pets at your house, no pets, and your brothers and sisters don't count as pets. 1, 2. Do you have a pet?
No.
No pets. Nancy, do you have a pet? Okay. So there's 3 of you that have no pets. All right, so if you have 1 pet, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 pets. 2 pets. That means if you have a cat and a dog, or a dog and a fish, and a I don't need to know what it is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right. If you have 3 pets. 1, 2. If you have more than 3 pets, 3 or more. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. So that tells us that so it would be 4 or more. 4 or more. Okay. So that tells us that when we're doing our plot line, we got the information. Now we're going to put it into our line plot, our plot line. I make up my own words. So now we're going to put this into our line plot, okay? So we have some friends that have 0 pets. We have some friends that have 1 pet, 2 pets, 3 pets, and 4 plus pets. All right, so I put a 4 plus up there for 4 or more, okay? All right, so if you have 0 pets, I need you to come up and you're going to mark your X, okay? If you have 0 pets, come on up. There should be 3 of you. And remember how I told you about the X's? How are we going to do our X's? Nice and small and in a row. Right? Good job.
try to make it the same size as all the other ones. They should all be the same size.
Okay. Good job. All right. The next one, if you have 1 pet, there should be 4 of you. Make sure your X's are the same size as these X's. Okay. Good job. All right. Thank you so much. Now, if there's 2 pets, there should be 6 of you. Remember, Your X's need to be the same size, and we're going in a row, in a line, straight up, okay?
I forgot to take my book.
Okay. Good job. Those X's are getting kind of small. I'm old. I'm not going to be able to read them. All right. 3 or more. Three pets. Make sure they're nice and neat. All right, if you have 4 plus pets,
I'm reading their minds.
I'm going to talk about those X's.
And then ask follow-up questions after.
Because then the first one matched my.
Say them.
Yeah, I'm not surprised by that. Yeah.
But I feel like. All right, listen up. All right, so now my question is, which one has, let's see, how do I ask this
That's
question?
a hard one.
What?
That's a hard one to ask.
Right, so how many of who has
How many?
2 or which one is the most? Which one has the most pet? I mean, the most X's? I don't know. Jacob,
The 4 plus and
let's see.
2. They have 6.
We're having a hard time seeing that and reading that data, aren't we?
1, 2.
Are you having a hard time comparing it?
Yeah, you know why? Because some of our X's aren't the same. Remember how when we started, I said all the X's have to look the same. So this was our first X. It was a nice, good, sharp X. We could read it from all over the room. But then we got smaller, then we got bigger, then we got, that's like a T. Then we got skinny. Then we got really small. And when we have lots of data in this line, that's hard to read a little bit, isn't it?
Yeah.
Now imagine this line had lots of X's and they were all this small. Your eyes would go like, right? So you have to make sure when you're doing your number, when you're doing your line plot, that your X's are all the same. Okay? We do have a tie. So we have a tie. We have 2. There's no tiebreaker.
The data is the data.
Data is data.
It's not
data.
a contest. It's data.
Right. So we have 6 students have 2 or more pets, or 2 pets, and 6 students have 4 or more pets. Okay? So which has the least? 3 pets. Least. The 2. Go ahead, Kamar.
You said this. 3.
3. The students that have 3 or less, 3 pets or less. It's hard to use that in a sense. That's hard to, like my brain wants to say who has the most. You know, your brain wants to say. Anyway, So 3 students have 2, and then we have 3 students that don't have any pets whatsoever. And then we have 4 that only have 1 pet. Okay, so this could go, you could go further with this and say, how many students have
How many altogether?
all together? How many students? You could do another line and say, okay, how many people have a cat and a dog? How many have a dog and a cat? Sit on your bottom so that people behind you can see the number line, okay? I mean the line plot. There's different ways you can go with that, okay? So give me a thumbs up if you understand the point of a line plot. A line plot. What's the point of a line plot? Can somebody tell me what the point of a line plot is? What's the point? Go ahead, Annabelle.
To show people how many of something there is.
Say it a little bit louder because I can't hear because my friend's moving their desk. Can you push your desk back? Go ahead, Annabelle, one more time.
For it to show people how much there is of something.
I still can't hear you. I'm so sorry. Go ahead, one more time.
To show people how much there is of something.
To show of how much of there is of something, that's correct. And also to figure data out, right? What are some
Show
other
or display measurement
Yeah.
data?
to measure? So I'm gonna pass out this worksheet and we're gonna measure. I'll pass it out. Take one, pass it on. So this worksheet, we're going to use our ruler and we're going to measure the length of 4 different pencils. Put your head up, Sister Sue. Take one, pass it on. You can't breathe? No, there's one on the ground by you. Here we go. All right, so the next one. So everybody has their worksheet now. And we should be on. All right, so let's start on this side right here before we do the pencil side. Let's do this side. Flip it over. Okay. We're going to start with this side. So Kevin and his friends went fishing on Saturday. The table below, it has the number of fish they caught that each one caught. Okay, so read the data and make the line plot and answer the following questions. Okay, so Kevin caught how many fish? I'm gonna make this my line plot for this. Okay. Okay, so they're do you see at the bottom? They're the title of this is The Anglers. Angler, that's another word for fisherman. the fish, okay? Okay, so the anglers, so I'm gonna write it on here. All right, so Kevin was our first person. I got Kevin, John, Tom, thank you, Alan, and Steve. Okay, so Kevin caught how many fish? Ian, one fish. So how many X's is Kevin going to get? 1X, right? We're gonna make it nice, and so I want everybody to do that on their paper. Put an X by Kevin. An X on top of Kevin's name. See? On top of Kevin's name right here. Kevin is the first name. Okay? And make sure it's nice and neat. That is not nice and neat. You erase it. Nice and neat. You need to be able to read it. That's a great X. So you're going to put an X right here by Kevin's name. That could be a little bit bigger because your data, your eyes are going to hurt if you have to count a bunch of those X's. There you go. All right, so the next one is John. John, how many fish did John catch? Talia? 4. So how many X's is John gonna get? 4. Nice and neat X's, right? Just a minute, please. Nice and neat, yes. Those aren't X's, that's a T. So you need to fix those. Nope. This is an X. This is an X, and this is a T. So you need to erase all those T's and put X's. All right, so Tom was next. How many did Tom get? Joey? 3 X's. All right, and then Alan? Katana? 5 X's. The X's aren't super fantastic, but all right, and then Steve, Ian. Steve got 3 X's. All right, so we had to fill this in because we had to have that information in order to, do you need an eraser? In order to fill in, to answer the questions, right? So when Miss Megas comes to Miss Fry and says, I need to know how many of your students are on level 77. Miss Fry has to have the data to have that information for Miss Megas, correct?
Yes.
So if she wanted to do that, she could do a line plot and put her kids, the students in the class, she could put the lowest level and then the highest level. And then she would be able to know, then she would be able to see who has what. When Miss Megas comes to her and says, tell me what students have level 77, she say, oh, Alan. Alan definitely has level 77 because I marked him at 77. Okay? All right, so let's ask our first question. The first question is, who caught more fish than anybody else? Who caught more fish than anybody else? Go ahead. Kamar?
Anna.
Alan?
Alan.
Alan. You guys agree with that? Give a thumbs up. Okay, good job. So write Alan on your first line. Number 2 is, which 2 friends caught the same amount of fish? 2 of our friends caught the same amount. Ian.
Tom and Steve.
Tom and Steve. Yep. You guys agree? Show me if you got a thumbs up. All right. How many fish did John catch? Leah. John caught 4 fish. Correct. Give her a thumbs up. Who caught 1 fish? Jacob. Kevin caught only 1 fish. Poor Kevin. How many fish? Oh wait, how many of them caught at least 2 fish? Angel. Excuse me. Ariel. How many of them caught at least 2 fish? That means like how many caught more than 2 fish? 2 or more. Go ahead.
It was Steve and John.
Okay, so they caught more than 2 fish. There's
Wait, me?
more than 2 fish with Kevin. We know he caught how many fish?
1.
1 fish. So he's out. What about John? How many fish did John catch?
4.
John caught 4. That's more than 2. 4 is more than 2, right? So we got 1. What about Tom? Tom caught how many? 3, which is 3 is more than 2. All right, so now we have 2 friends. What about Alan?
5.
Alan caught 5 fish. So that is 5 more than 2.
Yeah.
All right, so now we have 3. What about Steve?
Yeah. 3.
Steve caught how many?
3.
3. So is that more than 2?
Yes.
All right, so how many friends caught more than, how many of them caught at least 2 fish?
4.
4 of them, okay? Sometimes, remember how when we were doing word problems the other day and it was tricky? When they use words, sometimes we have to really think about what they're asking, okay? All right, so you can turn that page over. Does anybody have any questions about that? Making and interpreting the line plots? I was gonna have them do this side by themselves. Partners. I think it's a markers. I was like, okay. Yeah. Okay, so you're gonna turn it over. Do you have a question, Miracle, on making and go ahead. Why do you have to make an X? That's a good question. Why do we have to make an X? Because an X is easy to interpret. That's not even a word. Interpret. I can't even talk. But when you're looking, if you have a bunch of T's, that's it would be hard to read it. Okay, so we have to make sure we have the X. And we have to make sure that they're in a nice straight line. And we have to make sure that they're legible. That only helps us to read the data later, okay? All right, so we're going to flip. Does anybody else have any other questions about that? Okay.
No.
Go ahead and flip it over, and you're going to work with a partner. You're going to work with your partner. Y'all know who your partners are. If you don't have a partner, Ms. Fry's partner you're at right now, you're going to measure each X on the line is the length of 1 book. So you guys are going to measure, use your ruler and measure and record the length of 4 pencils in inches.
Each of you should have 2 pencils in your desk.
All right. So you're going to get with your partner. You're going to get that out of your mouth, please. You're going to get with your partner. You're going to get your pencils and get your ruler out, and you're going to measure. All right.
Put your data in your chart and then continue your numbers.
What? Your ruler. Oh, I'll give you. Too bad. All right, so you need to get with your partner. Take your pencils. Take both your pencils and get with your partner. And measure your rulers and then write it on the end. So you're going to measure your rulers. Here, I'll show you. You're going to measure your okay, and then you're going to write that in the first pencil. And you're both going to use that as your first pencil, okay? Okay. I need you to sit up at your desk, please. And you're going to measure your first pencil. So your first pencil is this. All right. So it's 6 inches. Your first pencil is going to be 6 inches for both of you. Your first pencil is going to be 6 inches for both of you. Yes, because you're using his pencil and listen to me, please. You're using his pencil, your partner's. So he's number 6. Okay. Measure your next pencil. Okay, so your next pencil is going to be 7. So your first pencil are his 2 pencils. All right, so your first pencil. Your first pencil on your paper is going to be his pencil. Okay? Your first pencil. You should be writing this, boys and girls. Boys and girls, your first pencil is your partner's pencil or your pencil, whatever you decide. You each have 2 pencils. That's 4 pencils. You're measuring 4 pencils. So if you're gonna, let's say Adeline and Shane are gonna do Shane's first. Shane's and Adeline's first pencil is going to be 7 inches. Okay, so you're gonna have 7 inches on there, okay? There you go, keep going. Where are your pencils? Go sit at your desk. Come sit at your desk. You're using his pencils and your pencils. Now measure. He did 1 and 2. Now you need to do 1 and you need to do 3 and 4. Please put your chair down. When you go to write your numbers on your line plots, you need to make sure you're putting the smallest number first. So whether your smallest number is 6 or 7, whatever your smallest number is.
5.
Smallest number is first. Good job. Okay, so this is measure. One X about 5. Okay. And you have 2 that were 5.
Okay, what's your smallest number? 5. Alright, so let's number these, starting with 5.
I'm gonna put 12
All right, so then
Why'd you write 6 plus? Oh, because it's 5. That's not how we did that. No. You have to put 5, 6, 7, 8. 2 6s means you're gonna put 2 X's. That doesn't mean how many numbers you're gonna put down.
okay, how long is this?
Okay. So now, how many pencils were 5 inches?
You're gonna put 12 in there.
How many pencils were 5 inches? How many pencils were 6 inches?
4 and 6.
There was only one that was 6 inches?
And then on the number line, you're gonna put the littlest number first.
Oh.
All right, boys and girls.
How many were 7?
I need everybody to pause for 1 second. Pause for 1 second. Pause. Everybody look at me. You should only have 4 X's on your line because we only measured 4 pencils. All right? So you're not putting the X's of how many inches it is. You're putting the X's to mark how many pencils there are, okay? So you're going to, if you marked, oh, you know what? It is inches. It is. I'm right. Okay. Because in my brain, I just know it's the length of pencils. They're right. They're right. I'm wrong.
They need 1 X per pencil.
Yeah, but it's the length.
Yes.
Oh yeah, because they're putting the number of
1 X
the.
per pencil, just like 1 X per
Oh,
student,
okay,
1 X per
so-
pencil.
Okay, yeah. Listen, my brain.
You're good.
I got
How many were
confused.
5 inches?
So if you have, this is ready. What is 12 inches? What pencil do you have that's 12 inches? Show me the pencil that's as big as this ruler. Where is it?
We put 2 of them.
Nope. You need to have 4 pencils.
We have 4.
Measure each pencil 1 time. Erase this. No, I'm sorry. I may have said that, but what I meant was you're going to take your 2 pencils and you're going to take your 2 pencils, and that's where your 4 pencils are going to come from. Okay? So erase this.
So the top is going to
This one's in
So how many X's did you have?
7.